Hi, this is Yeti Batsky from Straight Talk 101. Welcome to another segment. I actually want to talk about something that I know is still of interest to a lot of people, and that is the crisis in Afghanistan right now. I'm actually going to be making reference to an interview that was conducted by ABC News with our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison. Now, this has been posted online under ABC News. So I actually am going to put up a link here. I'll put up a link. You see the link right now as to where you can find this interview and read it at your own leisure. But the title of this particular segment that was put on ABC News website says Scott Morrison's Afghanistan response needs a boost in its compassion quotient. Now, as I was reading through this, all of the typical responses that you would have expected from a leader when asked whether or not they're doing a good job or whether or not they've responded appropriately to a crisis such as this was given. But the interesting part of the whole interview was the actual quota that the Australian government now has agreed to as far as the number of Afghan refugees that the Australian government will allow come into our country. That number is about 3,000. Our current quota as part of the annual humanitarian program is 13,750. I'll just put it out there, 13,750. Now, according to this news article, the Australian government will allocate from that 13,750, 3,000 positions to be given or allocated for Afghan refugees. Where am I going? I actually want to just bring up some figures, and this is all part of the interview. Now, if you haven't read it in print media or heard it on the news or seen it online, I encourage you to follow the link and have a look at this, because we need to be aware of what's going on, not only in our own community but nationally, and we need to have an interest as to how our government is responding to an international crisis. Why? Because those decisions will also affect us, affect our nation. Now, according to this news article, the Canadian government have pledged, now I use the word pledged, to accept 20,000 Afghan refugees. As far as Australia and how we've responded in the past, this article also made reference to past prime ministers and the number of refugees under their leadership that they accepted at the time. Now, Malcolm Fraser accepted 55,000 Vietnamese refugees. Bob Hawke, 42,000 Chinese students after the Tiananmen Square massacre. And Tony Abbott, 12,000 Syrians after the Civil War. Now, when you look at it, coming back to our current annual humanitarian program intake number of refugees that Australia will currently receive, it's 13,750. In my opening remarks, I made comments in reference to, out of that 13,750, 3,000 will be allocated for Afghan refugees. In this segment, I'm putting it out there and asking you as the general public, do you think our Prime Minister and the Australian government has done enough to respond by only allocating 3,000 positions as far as refugees to be allowed into our nation? I'm not going to say whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. I want to know what your thoughts are. Since then, the ABC has put online a title in that news that says here, Scott Morrison's Afghanistan response needs a boost in its compassion quotient. Let me know what your thoughts are. You take care.